Hey guys, this is Gene Jensen. I'm gonna show you real quick how I'm catching these fish out on this flat. This is a stump flat. They're all moving up here, getting ready to spawn, hanging out on these stumps. They're gonna spawn on the stumps or they're using them as a stopping point. So let me get myself unhung off of this stump and we'll talk about it. All right, so this is one of those situations where the fish are spawning or they're getting ready to spawn and you cannot sight fish. It is muddy water or dingy water and they're spawning on these stumps. And I can't see all of them. I can see the ones that are really shallow, but the ones that are a little bit deeper, I can't see at all. So what I'm doing is kind of a cool little thing I learned many, many years ago fishing Lake Fork. But instead of using a lizard, using a rage hog or a brush hog, something with a lot of little kickers, a lot of little appendages that kick. Dipped a little bit in chartreuse. A green pumpkin with a chartreuse tail a lot of times will mimic a bluegill, and it really does cause a reaction strike. But I'm throwing out and I'm just swimming it very carefully. Let it sink to the bottom, and then I'm just swimming it very slowly, very carefully, and just feeling for a bump. And it takes a lot of concentration. Literally, I'm just waiting to bump a stump. And as soon as I bump that stump, I kill it. And that's when I've been getting bit. I'm using a 3/8 ounce. I probably could go lighter, but 3/8 ounce tungsten weight. It's pegged, flipping hook. This is a large rage hog. A medium heavy power, 7'3" medium heavy power rod, 8:1 gear ratio reel, and just my normal little flipping setup. And mainly because it's a stump, and I got 20-pound test fluorocarbon. I don't want it to break off around the stump, and the fish picks it up and swims around the stump. So I'm set up for that. And the thing is as I'm casting out and I swim it, when I feel the bite, I try to count 2 seconds to give that fish a chance to get the whole thing in its mouth, because a lot of times it is a reaction strike and they will just pick up the end of it. And then the second time they'll suck the whole thing in. And that's when I set the hook. Now when you finally hit a stump, shake it a few times, remember exactly where that cast was, throw back in and make multiple casts to that stump from several different angles. Because a lot of times it's just, if they're spawning, it's going to be hard to get them to open their mouth. You just throw in there to just tick them off. And that's key. This is when it would be nice to have power poles on the boat and just be able to pole down and make that same cast over and over and over and over again until you got the fish to bite. Another thing is once you get bit the first time, remember how deep the boat is. Try to figure out how deep the stump was, because a lot of times that makes a difference in where they're at. The water clarity is what positions them at a depth. And in this stained water, they're going to be really, really shallow. Now these stumps are really shallow. If I'm fishing deeper stumps, like 3 to 5 feet deep, I'm not gonna throw a Texas rigged bait like a lizard or this hog. I'm going to actually throw a square bill. Found that a square bill works 10 times better if you've got a little bit deeper water, mainly because it deflects so well. You just bump a stump, kill it, and if that fish is on it, it's going to annihilate that bait. It's one of my favorite ways of catching them when they're deeper. All right, so what I've learned over the years when swimming any type of soft plastic on a worm hook, not an exposed like swim bait hook or something like that, but a worm hook, is once you feel the bite, give the fish the line. In other words, I'll feel the bite and I'll push it forward and let that fish get a good bite on that bait. A lot of times, if you try to set the hook like a crankbait or like a swim bait and set it right away, 99 times out of 100 you're going to miss that fish. And all I do is I'm swimming along and I feel that bump and then I give him the line. And I count 1, 2, I pull to see if he's on there. Pull it tight to see if he's on there, and then just lay into him like I would a Texas rig. So that's one of the biggest things. You will lose so many fish if you just prematurely set the hook. Oh, there's one. There's some big ones out here. Liking that color. I get so hung up on this. Yep, I've got one. Another little cutie.
I'm catching a lot of cute ones today.
Nice. Little buck bass. I bet you money they're going to spawn up here on this flat.
I agree.
Man.
Have you showed them what we're fishing? Like where we're fishing at?
Well, they pretty much know. There's the
Okay.
the power plant behind us.
I'm just saying, like, just, you know, how open water flats like this.
Yeah, it's just a huge open water flat. It's got lots of grass
I mean,
in
we're
it.
hundreds of yards off the bank, and what is it, 4 feet deep?
Yeah, exactly. And the water temperature's in the low 60s out here, which the bass will pull up here and spawn if there's a good, secure place to do it. And it's hard bottom, so never hurts to look offshore when the water temperature is right for spawning.
Fish has got a big old dent in his nose.
Little bitty.
Well, you go get you some, buddy. Go have yourself a fun time. You've been waiting all winter for that.
Pretty cool. Good old Texas rig space monkey.
This is, I credit this bait a lot
Lee.
for my AOY thing. Jordan Lee's is a little more important, obviously. But when I won Angler of the Year, the tournament before was at West Point.
Yep.
And I had no idea what to do. And my boater was cranking. It was a little hump that came up about 1.5 foot higher than the other, like it's this big flat.
Mm-hmm.
And there's trees everywhere in West Point. I was in the back of Weehadkee Creek. I think it's Weehadkee on West Point. And that was the second to last tournament. And the boater was cranking and he was catching some fish, but like it was just one of those things where I knew I couldn't really crank behind him because he was covering everything so efficiently. So I took a space monkey and I'd swim it and I'd knock it into a tree and kill it. And then I'd pick it back up, swim it, knock it, kill it. Because they were just these poles sticking up. It was like there was no branches.
Yep.
And I caught a good limit on that. I think I ended up in like top 20, you know, in the teens or like in the low 20s. Which means, you know, I had a solid bag of fish. I mean, I was over 10.
That's awesome.
And as a co-angler, I mean, that's a good bag. Anytime you break 10 pounds on the back of the boat, to me, is a good day.
Cool, he hammered it. I don't know if it's a big good one or not. He freaking wrecked it. Little guy was like, I got this. Man.
So when you're swimming the soft plastic and you bump something, because I mean, that's obviously the key in getting these bites. I mean, you know, they'll bite it just like they will a spinnerbait or something with the appendages moving around. But when I bump into something, there's usually one of two things that I'll do. I'll either kill it, but then there's days where speeding it up after that bump will trigger a strike too. Because it's almost every time that the bite comes after you hit. I mean, just like, you know, throwing a crankbait or anything else. But sometimes when you're swimming it along there and you bump it, rather than just killing the bait, sometimes giving it a quick little, you know, making the bait scoot away is another way to make them react to it.
Another thing is size.
Profile?
The profile of the bait really can be critical. I'm throwing a bigger bait in this grass, still throwing that Rage, what is it, Rage Hog?
Rage Hog.
And he's throwing a Space Monkey, which is a wider profile but smaller. And he seems to be getting a little bit more bites. Plus, it's the color. He's got a darker color, and this is dingy water.
On June bug.
Yeah. The only thing that shows up on mine is they see the green pumpkin, but they'll see that chartreuse first. Mm-hmm. And so that's the difference. And in this grass and in this color water, that June bug, that dark color, is
well, and even
deadly.
Even in clear lakes, I mean, this time of year, you know, I mean, we've had how many fish have we caught with bluegill down their throats? I mean,
oh yeah,
it's
I know
all the time.
Yeah,
and
this
so,
time of the year, really, I like to key in on bluegill.
Yeah, June bug is, you know, I think people, you know, think June bug is just a color for dirty water, and it's really not. I mean, if you look at this water, I mean, when I drop this bait down, I mean, that's 3 feet of visibility.
Yep.
I mean, we're not in dirty water at all.
Go towards that boat. We're a little bit out of the grass.
Okay. You want me to pull that one back in?
No, you're good.
Okay. So June bug is not just a clear, or it's not just a dark water color. It's for when you want to imitate bluegill. It's a fantastic way to do that. Bluegill have a lot of purple on their body,
Boy, that's a mound reel.
And these striking rage things, dude, these were all the things that Steve made. They swim so dang good that you don't have to like really be swimming it to get that action. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of these bites, I've just been pulling it along almost like a Carolina rig, but it doesn't really, you know, it doesn't really ever stop. I just constantly keep it moving. And I mean, you can see how much it moves just on the drop. I mean, it's crazy. That's the other thing too, dude, is it allows you to throw a smaller profile bait in really dirty water.
Yep.
Like if you're flipping, you know, if you're on a lake, kind of like at Conroe, and I mean, they had some guys on live that were in that nasty water.
Yep.
And you can throw, like the structure bug. Is it the
Yeah.
rage bug?
Yeah, the
structure
rage bug, structure bug.
that Jordan Lee was throwing?
Yep.
I mean, dude, that bait is tiny.
Yep.
So you can throw a bait that's a small profile that'll keep them biting, but it still pushes a ton of water to at least get them to look.
Yep.
You know, it gets their attention. I don't know, dude, they're awesome baits. So for those of you guys having some issues with understanding, you know, swimming a soft plastic and why it works, you know, because, you know, I know what helps me a lot is first off, having confidence in what I'm throwing, but then being able to visualize what's going on underwater. The way that I got into swimming soft plastics and it becoming something that I had confidence in before I really ever even started catching fish consistently on it was just to think like I was fishing a spinnerbait. You know, it's a spinnerbait without any blades.
Yep.
You know, it's just like a swim jig, but you're just offering them a different presentation.
It's a good way of thinking about it.
But it puts off the same, you know, a brush hog, a rage hog, any company that makes any sort of these products, you know, a chigger craw. Dude, I mean, I've caught fish swimming a chigger craw before, and those arms just flap so hard that, you know, that's your blade, basically. That's what's putting off the vibration. They look, they hear, you know, they feel or they see something, you know, putting off those vibes, and that bait is the perfect profile for them.
Oh, there's one.
You want?
Oh gosh,
Oh, gosh.
Get the net. Of course the back camera's not on. Battery just died. But, ready?
Yep.
Come on.
Got her.
Yes!
Nice, dude.
Another big one. Oh gosh. Look at that, guys. What a dang good fish swimming a soft plastic. Sometimes you just got to think outside the box. I mean, this is just take the situation, take the cover you have, take the time of year, put everything into consideration, then think outside the box and try something different. Swimming plastics can catch some big ones. Well, like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing. Introduce them to my channel. Let me help you teach them how to fish. More importantly, get out of the water, go out and catch some fish. Have a great day.